Hello, my smart investors. How are you guys doing today? Today, we're going to talk about the details of your contract of sale. What does it contain? Are you just getting a contract of sale from anywhere and you are backing up on that? This is a mistake or some mistake that so many people have done that has made them lose their property. So let's start with a story. Mr. James reached out to me that he needed my assistance, that the seller of the property that he has purchased before has called him that he needs more money. More money for what? He bought a four plots of land for 45 million somewhere in Lagos. When I asked him the document he had, he said he gave him a receipt and just a written note of that. Oh, I made this payment on so day and so day I'm supposed to pay balance and stuff just like that. That was just all the agreement they made, the address of the property, the owners, the names of the people who owns the property or the buyer and the seller. Because I told him to show me the document, and those were the things that were contained in the documents. It wasn't a contract of sale. And then he called my attention that this is his problem, that the seller is requesting for more money, that if he doesn't pay more money, there's a buyer who is willing to make a better payment. Like, seriously, that is the reason why people need a contract of sale. And I'm going to give you the list of what should be contained in your contract of sale. If not, so many people have done a contract of sale, they've done agreements, they bought property, and in another my video, I will give you reasons why you need a contract of sale instead of any other document when you're buying a property. But before we get there, let me just give a scale of what will make somebody like this would have written or gone through a real contract of sale, not just a letter, not just a receipt. Getting a property like this, where you have made part payments, you need a contract of sale, not a deed of assignment, because deed of assignment is when all transaction has been done. But for contract of sale, it gives details of what the property should be, what is making why is the property or why is the document you are having not a deed of assignment, and why is it a contract of sale? What payment have you made? What happens if one of the parties breach the contract? What dates should the contract be closed? What is the price of the property? What documents are you expecting after you've closed the deal? Oh, if there's a renovation going on, when will they finish the renovation? What if you don't finish it? Because we've had situations whereby a seller or a developer will collect money and say, oh, in 3 months, in 1 year, sorry, in 3 months, in 1 year, this deal will be closed. But you find out that you are the one pushing them. How far, bros? Complete this deal now. Some of them even go out. They take their money and they go and start another project somewhere. But when you have a contract of sale that is well detailed, they will not be able to breach that contract, because the contract of sale is not just a document, it's not just a paper that you just write, not just an agreement. It's the legal document that is needed for a transaction like this. The contract of sale is an evidence that proves all the details. You can use a contract of sale to open a case against a client, because you're not just signing a document, you're not just having a document that shows that you bought property from the person. All details is a very legal agreement document that proves that you have bought this property from so person, and these are the agreement, every word, not words by mouth, everything that has to do with the property, you have to put them in the contract of sale. For example, I did a contract of sale for a client recently, and the client bought the property and paid half and made half payments with agreements with the seller. And then, because I was the one that did the contract of sale, I had to make sure I put everything that was needed in that contract of sale to help the buyer, which was my client. And when the seller saw the contract, he said, no, I will not sign. And that is, if you have a good contract of sale, it gives the seller like, wait, though, if something like this happen, and that will also make you know if the seller is genuine or not. Fine, I'm not saying the seller is not genuine, but the draft I drafted was something that would have made him stand on his feet. And that he came back, and both of them had to sit and they go, okay, no, we didn't mean it that way. We just wanted to be sure that you will not breach the contract, because on our own part, we will try our best to make the payment on so position. And that was what closed the deal. That was what really helped them. But when you make a skeleton contract of sale, it's not binding on anybody. For example, you're doing a contract of sale and you're not telling the seller that if you breach the contract, this is what will happen, this is the percentage you need to pay. Or you as a buyer or the seller, you don't write, maybe it depends whoever is going to write the contract of sale. On the other side, the seller said, okay, since you've given me this tight agreement, what will happen if the seller refuses to pay on so day? What if I have a client that comes to pay, to make more payment after this months that we've agreed that the buyer should make payments? These are some things that you put into your contract of sale. So if you're having a contract of sale that does not have these details, you have to go back and redo it, because anybody can breach. Even if it's your father or your uncle, your relatives or your best friend, they can breach the contract. But the contract of sale gives all details. In another of my video, I will give you the reason why you need the contract of sale and the details you need to make sure you are guided, you are protected. Because the most important reason why you need a contract of sale is for the protection of your interest of that property, so that you who is making the payments will not lose. It's more lose or more loss for the person making the payments. I was in court one day, and one of the cases that one of my colleagues had, or one of the cases that was presented to court, the lawyer from the buyer side said, we've made a down payment of a certain amount of money, and the seller has refused to refund even a dime. Only for us to go back and check, we find out that there was no contract to state that this money will be refunded back. The seller made a contract from the beginning that if you make these payments, we will not refund back until you complete the deal. And the seller, the buyer, agreed by making a signature. He did not read it clearly. Or maybe at that time, Seth, he even read it and understood. But you know how we were tricky sometimes. But let me believe he did not read it or understand it very well. And he signed it. And the court supported the seller, like, you already signed. It's only with enough pleading or something, like maybe they go for arbitration and they will have to sit down and say, okay, well, okay, now you consider. He does not want to complete the money. Something happened, maybe in between, giving some payments. But if the court wants to, it's going to grant the seller his agreement, because the seller can also come back and be like, within this period, we would have sold blah, 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 blah. But you who is getting a contract of sale, make sure you have a correct detail of that document. Anyway, it's your girl Annette from Lexi Ann's Property. I'm a legal practitioner guiding you to invest properly, the documents you need to safeguard your property, what you need to do, due diligence, search, for you not to make payment to the wrong person, and for you to buy real estate properly in Lagos, most especially in Lagos and in Nigeria. If you see me for the first time, this is the time to subscribe or like the video, follow me, and make your comments, ask your questions, and share this video. You don't know who you'll be helping. Maybe your boss, maybe your colleague. I recently talked to a friend recently. She was like, she paid money to one of our colleagues who was helping to market the property somewhere, and it's more than 4 years. The colleague is no longer in the office. There is no property. If she has seen a video like this, by now she would have regained her money back. Anyway, once again, thank you for seeing this video, and I hope to see you in another of my video. Don't forget to like, share, and drop your comments. See ya.